Before I get into the dynamics of how we see content today and also how we see distribution playing out, I want to take a quick step back in terms of what sort of occurred over the course of the last few years, where we've really progressively pushed to move into a video neutral space. So what that means is essentially taking what would have historically been a TV only plan and start to move into online video, cinema, other like programmatic video options in order to meet a video neutral consumer's needs. And what we've seen now is an explosion of the golden age of content. And what is really powerful is that consumers actually want and demand smarter content than ever before. That's why you're seeing the rise of House of Cards, or you're seeing The Walking Dead actually do better than the opening ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. Pretty incredible statements around both content development, but also the power of TV. So while there certainly is a dynamic of supply and demand, a erosion in supply on more of the broadcast networks, you're seeing a rise in supply of different cable networks driven by quality programming. So what that means for us is actually, one, how are we partnering and working with networks as well as just content creators overall in order to ensure that our messages distributed in those, or for our brands, our messages distributed in those right programs for the right audiences in order to equate engagement and then ultimately purchase or some sort of call to action. The second thing is really around the power of storytelling. So how do we actually ourselves, as creators of content with our brands as partners, make sure that we're delivering smart brand-owned content into those programs? And that could be distributed via TV, that could be distributed via your mobile phone, that could be distributed via your tablet. But the work that we've done recently with BMW and Driving on Ice, and their entire story around how they've actually rebuilt the bobsled for the female and male US Olympic team, is a great example of that. Really compelling stories around human interests and making sure, though, that there is an authentic space in place for that brand to play. That then is programmed both on NBC, it's programmed through online video, it's programmed in mobile, and then it's also programmed programmatically. So seeking out specific audiences and delivering the shorter, smaller, broken down content capsule of that work to the right audiences in order to drive performance. So it's all collectively coming together, but the great news is that best-in-class content is alive and well, and that it is being developed by, I think, both the studios as well as by brands. And now we have distribution mechanisms that are unparalleled than ever before and really driving results. Facebook has been on a journey to figure out video for quite some time. And I think one of the things that's really powerful for Facebook is that they're moving more into the branded space. They have done such an incredible job with the direct response side of it. What they haven't necessarily landed is how they actually own video from a brand perspective. And their whole positioning is really around this newest or this latest video product is to be like a tent pole that delivers a 150 million plus audience in any given individual day. I think that's a really powerful product because you're capturing an audience that ultimately has a water cooler effect, because everyone actually goes to that platform on any given day. The challenge, though, I think, is that we more and more from a advertising perspective are looking at an always-on approach to building a brand or driving against key performance metrics. It could be building a brand, it could be actually trying to drive purchase, and that happens every single day of the year. It doesn't happen just one single day. So the thing I look forward to with Facebook is not just having an opportunity to use their platform for stunt videos, but to actually use it as an always-on platform to connect and engage with consumers and bring that story-led marketing content to life for brands. So ROI, to probably take a quick step back, there are, from a market mix modeling perspective, there are third-party providers that do a lot of different market mix modeling work or ROI work, all the way to in-house solutions. So we have our own data and analytics team that will do market mix modeling or econometric modeling, all the way to working with a third-party provider. I think ROI is exceptionally important. The belief that performance media or even direct response is just selective for a particular set of clients or a particular set of objectives is false at this point. There is no marketer out there, there's no CMO that doesn't need to know exactly how every dollar spent actually drives a specific call to action. Now those call to actions might change. ROI might be about moving cases off shelf. ROI also might be about putting butts in seats. So it really depends on that particular category. The way that we leverage and utilize that data is essentially as like a cycle of learning. So we are working with either our own data and analytics team, or we are working with a third party to make sure that that information is infused in our planning process, that ROI is consistently a metric that we're taking into consideration, but that we're also looking at the dynamics of the forecasted marketplace. So when you think about mobile, for example, ROI historically for mobile probably wasn't as high as we would forecast it to be, because historical inventory was relatively low and the price was relatively high. As you look at the future, mobile inventory is going to continue to scale. It's going to continue to get closer to actual purchase. And so we need to make sure that we're taking that into consideration, and that we're also buying mobile at the right type of level to feed into those market mix models to be able to get a realistic result. So collectively, market mix modeling and ROI is more important than it's ever been before. And what we've found as it relates to the content story that you were, or the content question you were originally asking, is that custom content is 8 times more effective than any other traditional channel. So it goes back to performance and making sure that everything can work harder and can break through to an audience that sees over 1,500 ads a day.
We've gone to all these different places and been able to embrace the culture there. We learn what other agencies are like and how we can take all these best practices back to your own agency and really learn. And the best part, we always talk about, it's not about talking, it's about doing.